Hello everyone, good evening. It is September the 10th and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my stitching today. I'm excited to tell you today's call on WIPGO turned out to be 13th colony, which in mine is part 2 because I've already finished the first one. So I'm into part 2 and I have joined them up here and I've come across here and I've done part of that mountain, part of this seashore here, and I had been working on the first of the 2 trees. So today I finished that first tree. I had one section at the top left to do and I did it, and it was 337 stitches just in that group right there, that little patch at the top of the tree. So here's what the whole thing looks like. I think it's looking really pretty. And now that I've got that with I've got the beginnings of the little boat there. So hopefully I can finish that boat and mountain the next time, and I'll be ready to start working towards the little island in the middle. Wouldn't that be fun? I can't wait to get to there. And this is going to be kind of a repeat of that, but I can't wait to get there because this kind of symbolizes the middle of the project. Isn't that exciting? I only had to do 100 stitches today for my WIPGO, but as you remember, I just mentioned I did 337. So you can imagine why I did that. I have a challenge in the Daily 30 group. It's called the New Wonders of the World. And the prompt that I was able to use this for today was to stitch on a WIP with a dwelling place. And as you can see already, I've stitched several little houses in there. So it definitely has dwelling places in it. And that's why I just kept on stitching. 2 reasons. I wanted to finish that tree, that clump in the tree. I was going to stitch till I finished it. And I did, and then I counted, and I had 337 stitches. So I said, this is great, this is perfect, it's enough for the prompt. And so I didn't have to keep going. I did my small goal, and I had taken care of everything. So I'm excited about that. Well, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that I have been doing some planning for 2024, and I know it's just September. But there's a reason I'm doing it early. Number one, it's not too early for WIPGO because last year in September I started planning my WIPGO board, and it was important because it gave me 3 months, October, November, and December, to kit everything up, and it also gave me the opportunity to ask for some of those supplies if they were expensive for Christmas, so that they didn't have to come out of my Stitch for Stash budget. So I'm happy to report that I have pulled out what I think are going to be my planned new starts for next year that will go on my WIPGO board and go into my May Mondays and my birthday start and my New Year new start. I've got them all picked out. Today I spent, 2.5 hours, maybe more. I went through every single one of them. I picked fabric for every piece, for every project. And then I kitted up every project with the floss. So some of them I'm using overdyed. Some of them I'm using a combination of DMC and overdyed. And then some are just DMC. But I made my shopping list, and I needed a few overdyed threads, and my Stitch from Stash budget looks pretty good right now because I've had some big finishes this month. So I went ahead and placed an order for my threads. So I will be ready to go and with all of these kitted up projects. So I had a thought that you might like to see them. Several of you have been so kind in the past to start things with me when you add them. And, you know, I'm pulling things out of my stash that are old, and I'm pulling things out of, that are new. And so chances are you may have one or two of them, and you might want to start them next year. So I thought I would share them with you. Hope you're interested in that. But I'm going to film that, and if it's too long and would make the video way too long for the end of the week, I may go ahead and put it up and give you a bonus, a bonus video. So I'm going to get everything set up, and I'm going to get it started for you. I'll be back in a little bit. Happy stitching. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today is the 13th of September, and I'm here to refilm a segment for you about my new starts that I am planning for, mostly for 2024, and a couple of them might occur this year, so I'll share that with you as we go. But this year, when I decided to plan my new starts for 2024, mostly that is because of WIPGO that I start thinking about it. And although it's September, almost mid-September, that's when I start planning my WIPGO, because I have an idea of about how many WIPs I'm going to be carrying forward next year. I try to have a realistic assessment of what I can finish between now and the end of the year. And then, of course, if I don't finish one of them, I'll add it in. But I start planning this month because that gives me 3 months to kit things up. And I can do it in small pieces, or I can lump it all together and see if my husband would like to give it to me for Christmas, which he loves because it's a gift he knows I really want, and he doesn't have to go and do a lot of heavy brain power thinking and shopping. So it's a win-win for the two of us. So to get started this year, I started with my WIPs, and I determined that I think I will be carrying forward 15 WIPs. Now, right now I have 18, so that means I have 3 more I'm hoping to finish by the end of the year. We'll see. I think I have a good chance at it, but we'll see. So I listed my 15 WIPs on cards. These are my actual cards that I used for my planning section, and I knew that these were going to go on my WIPGO board, and so I've listed those out. So that takes 15 of the 25 spots. Now, last year I had so many WIPs. I had 28, I think, when I planned for WIPGO. I decided that I would have 2 WIPGO boards in 2023 because that allowed me to put all my WIPs on a WIPGO board, and it also allowed me to have some new starts so that I wouldn't get discouraged. And it's working very well. I then decided this year, since I only have 18 WIPs right now and hope to have 15, that I only need 1 board for next year. And I have some other projects I want to do, some other activities I want to participate in. So I'm only going to do the 1 WIPGO board. So there's 15 of them right there. And since I'm only doing 1 WIPGO board, I'm not going to have a free space this year. I'm actually going to use the remaining 10 spaces for new starts. So then, to determine what do I want to start? What would I like to do next year? So the first thing I did is I went through all of my stash, my patterns. I didn't go through books and magazines. I went through patterns, booklets, patterns, and I determined what category I would put them together. So I grouped things in Christmas and autumn and Halloween and Easter, spring, summer, that kind of thing. I have a category called puppy dog, because I have a puppy dog and I stitch things for her to honor her, I guess, each year. So I put down my categories on different cards, and here they are. Okay, these are planning cards. These are the actual cards I use, so they're messy. I changed my mind, I wrote things down. So I wrote the categories based, first of all, on the WIPs that I already have. So I have 2 whips in autumn, you know, autumn in the country and autumn in the village. And then I have a stitching room category, and I have Stitcher's 12 days in there. But that's the only one I have. So I could add another one if I wanted to. I had a category for home decor. These are things I'm actually making that I know I'm going to use, like the pillow, the pandemic pillow that I'm making, and 13th Colony that I want to frame and put in my living room when I'm finished with it. I have Thanksgiving, Easter, samplers, Christmas, Halloween. I added St. Patrick's Day because I need more St. Patrick's Day decor. And I have a spring-summer category because I put Hawk Run Hollow in it because it is spring at Hawk Run Hollow. Then I took those new patterns and projects that I want to do that I had sorted into categories, and I just paired them up. Which categories that I had identified needed additional stitching done. You know, I didn't need any more autumn pieces. Last year, that was my focus. I did a lot of autumn starts last year and projects. And so I didn't want to start yet another one this year. So I've put that off. That one I didn't add to. As I mentioned, the stitching room, I felt like I had room to add one more for that because I'll be finished with that one probably during the year. And then I won't be stitching anything that's stitching room related. So you get the idea. I actually created a category this year called gifts because I have 4, a minimum of 4 that I want to use for gifts. So that's how it got started. So then I went in a different color ink, in the black ink, and I added in all my new starts that are going to go on my WIPGO board. So I've got that finished now. And I'm going to show all the new starts to you that I have planned. In addition to WIPGO, I have been asked to participate with a friend. Dee Abrams has invited some of us that we Zoom with to stitch ornaments with her next year. She wants to stitch 12 ornaments. She wants to pick 12 and stitch one a month. And I didn't think I could do that. I didn't think I could fit it in at first until I realized I wanted to start, and I had this in my list of new starts. I want to start the 12 Days of Christmas Berries by Erica Michaels. Let me get it to where you can see it. Now, this is a set of patterns. There's 4 patterns because they have 3 berries per pattern. And I have the entire set. So there's your 12 ornaments right there. So I pulled these off of WIPGO because I don't know when that will get called. And I'm just going to do these one a month. At least start one a month. I may not finish them all, but I want to start one a month of these with my friend Dee, my friend Donna, and I don't know if Lori's going to join in or not. I haven't heard yet from her, but I am going to participate in the 12 ornaments. So that's what I'm going to do, the berries. And then I've also pulled out new starts for May Monday, which I will share with you. And I've got some gift stitching, which I will share with you. So since I planned WIPGO first, why don't we go to WIPGO and let's just talk about what I'm going to put on my WIPGO board. So the first one I'll share with you is in the category of St. Patrick's Day. I need more St. Patrick's Day stitching. So I have been gifted by my friend Glow several St. Patrick's Day patterns, and this is one of them that she sent me, and it has a grouping of 3 little pillows, and I've decided to do at least 2 on my WIPGO board, and because this one is a little words and that goes pretty quick, I'll probably just tie that in at some point, just stitch it some weekend. But these 2 are the ones that are going on my WIPGO board. It's May Luck Find You and Luck Be With This Home. Now, these have little buttons on them. So I went to just another button company, and I found them. So I already have the buttons, and I'm excited about that. Now, this is the fabric I've chosen. I spent about 2.5 hours going through my stash Sunday. I had the best time pulling fabric for all of these projects. And I pulled thread as long as I had it. And then I made a shopping list of what I didn't have. So these are pretty well kitted up. Oh, I think back here you can see that green. This is called Water Lily. It's a Joblin. It is a remnant. You can see I used it. You can see I used a big portion of it, but there's plenty for those little pillows. So in fact, I could probably get the 2 small ones out of this little remnant right here. But I love it when I can pull a remnant fabric of mine and make good use of it, because then I feel like I haven't wasted anything. So on this Water Lily fabric, I will be stitching at least 2, possibly 3 St. Patrick's Day pieces. And I put them in this bag, even though it's really looks like spring, maybe more than March has, but it's green, that bright green. So I felt like that went well with the St. Patty's Day theme. Oh, I'm sorry, I zipped that up. I'll try not to do that going forward. Then I had on my list to do something else for Easter. I wanted to do something for Easter. So, and before I show you the pattern, I have to show you the bag. Isn't that precious? I love some of these bags you ladies are making. I'm telling you, they're beautiful. So this is the pattern I'm going to do. It's called Lamb, and it's a shepherd's bush. Those St. Patty's Days were also shepherd's bush. I forgot to mention that. But this is a shepherd's bush, and it's called Lamb, and it's part of the monthly musing series, which I don't have. I got this as a gift. I get wonderful happy mail where people send me parts of stash that they've inherited or their projects they've stitched and they want to pass along to someone else. And so this is one of those situations. It came in a group of patterns, and I looked through it and found this one and said, I want that one. So this looks quite large because it's stitched on a 10 count fabric, Ada. Actually, it looks like 10 count Ada in cream. And I'm not going to stitch mine on that. I don't want mine that big. I want mine nice and small for my dough bowl. So I pulled an Ada that was one of those gifts that I got at a retreat from a vendor. It was all tied up with pretty little twine and had a gift, had a business card on it. But this small little piece, because of the count, this pillow should fit perfectly within that square. And since I'm going to make it a pillow, I can stitch really close to the edge, which I will be doing. I think it'll go about right here to here. I will double check before I start stitching. I always do. But I think this would be gorgeous, and I'll probably turn it that way. I'm thinking whatever makes this look closer to the ground, I don't know. But I think those colors are going to look gorgeous with this piece. Now these buttons may be too big once I stitch it. I'll find out. And if they are, I'll save them for something else. I do have the buttons. But here are the colors. And I just think they're going to look great on this fabric. I'm excited. So that's what I'm planning on doing for Easter. Okay. So the next one, the category, is actually one I call Puppy, because it's things I do for my puppy dog or to honor her. And this one, though, is going to be my birthday start for the year. I've mentioned this already. I've asked if any of you would like to do an ornament this year for my birthday. That's what I want to do. Is a little ornament. This isn't part of my 12. This is something I'm doing with my friend Glow. We both got this pattern. We bought it together, and we are going to stitch it together starting on my birthday. I have just a tiny scrap of a piece of fabric that I just finished stitching on for another project, and I'm just going to use up the scrap for the ornament. And I did not have all the called for colors, so I pulled my own. Whichever colors I had I used, but I've pulled my own, and this is important because this was a prize I won from the Sunshine Stitchers. These are skin colors, all different skin colors, silks. And this one is so highly variegated. It has all the colors in it that Coco has in her coat. So I'm going to use that for the puppy dog to make it look like my Coco. I think that's going to look great. I'm excited about it. Happy, happy, happy. I was just looking through my overdyed floss that variegated to see if I could find anything that looked like Coco. When I saw that, I thought, oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. So that will be my birthday start. It just happened to be in the box with everything else, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to do a Thanksgiving piece. I don't have any Thanksgiving pieces going, and so I pulled this one out of my stash. Be Ye Thankful. This one is from With By Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. Problem is, though, these are not my colors. I don't have these colors in my home, really. That mustardy yellow, I think, was the one that I really thought would have kind of stuck out a little bit. So I did a color conversion. I took this entire pattern and I did some research. I looked up birds that are easily found in the south of the United States, in Georgia. I actually looked up in Georgia in the fall, and I found several birds that I wanted to stitch this bird to look like, and one of them looked like it would be the easiest to convert it to, and so I've pulled the colors to do that. It'll just mean that the chest is going to be a different color than the rest of the bird, but I can use this graph to still do the bird to look like that. It'll just be a different color. And then I went through and I changed out all the colors. So once I got the bird decided, then I looked up the same thing. I looked up flowers that flourish in the fall in Georgia, and I saw several, and one of them was peonies, and one of those colors that I liked the best was a gorgeous purpley color. And this is actually Boysenberry by Wheat Dye Works, and the tips of the flower are bright pink. So those are going to be my flowers. And then I went through and I picked a color for the house and the roof. So here is my color palette. Just a little brighter than what was called for. And I picked my pumpkin color and the color for my pot that's holding it. In fact, I kind of kept close to what they had for the little basket that's holding the pumpkin. And here's my pumpkin color. So where I could give a nod to this, I did, but otherwise I turned it into colors that are more appealing to me. We'll see how it looks. If it looks any good and you want the conversion, I'll give it to you. But let's see first. But because I'm using these beautiful purpley pinks and gorgeous greens, I decided to pull something really pretty to put it on, and I chose Jamie's Kilt, which is a hand-dyed by Stephanie pattern, and I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful on this. So that is what I'll be stitching Be Ye Thankful on. Okay, I decided to add a stitching room pattern because, as I mentioned, I might finish the other one in the coming year. And I have been looking at these tiered trays for 2 years now, admiring them and wanting to find one that I loved, and because I figured I'd only do one. So here it is, Celebrate Cross Stitch by Madame Chantilly. So you've got all of these cross-stitching motifs. She does have cats in there, which I don't have cats, but I think they're precious. They'll stay. Because my puppy dog wouldn't fit on a tiered tray anyway. But you know, you've got your X-Stitch Lover on the sign down here. You've got your coffee mug up here that says Stitch. You've got all your bobbins hanging on the tree like ornaments. It's just precious. This little lady in the middle is actually cross-stitching. I love that. So, so cute. Anyway, I wanted to do this, and I pulled a pretty, pretty fabric for this. It's called Vintage Stormy Night, and I think it will look really pretty on that. This looks a bit purpley gray. This is more gray, but I think this tray is dark gray. The actual tray itself, the stitches are dark gray, and I think they're going to look just fine on there. This will be light enough that the gray will show up. So that's my plan for Celebrate Cross Stitch. Now, I wanted to do a Valentine piece because I like to do one every year for my hubby. This one is a bit, you know, like I'm far reaching. It's kind of big. I may not make it in 1 year, but it's okay because it's in WIPGO. And even if it's pulled in December, hopefully I could finish it by February. We'll see. But, so it won't be for this coming February. It'll be for the next. But isn't that cute? I think it's a nod to the Beatles, too, because it says Lonely Hearts Club at the top. And then it says, help, I need somebody to love, which, of course, is a Beatles song. Those are lyrics from one of their songs. So I think they've taken that kind of as a nod back to the Beatles, which I think is great. But this is a Coure Batecure pattern, and I think it's precious. So I've decided that I want to stitch it on a very neutral pattern so that these beautiful blues and reds will just pop right off. I did consider a gray and white check, because I thought that red would look so pretty on that gray and white check. And they've actually used a red and white check fabric at the bottom, you know, to highlight this. But I was afraid with a gray and white check, it might be a little bit of a fight between the picture trying to show up and the fabric showing up. I was afraid it wouldn't work well. So instead, I'm going to use this beautiful piece right here. That's an Atomic Ranch fabric, and it's called Pampas Reed. And I got this from the Fabric of the Month Club from Garand Stitchery. So I think that's going to be beautiful. Doesn't look so much like that. That has almost a pink tint to it, but I think the reds are going to pop off of this. So that's why I pulled it, and that's what I intend to do for Valentine's Day. Now, this one's pretty. This was one I purchased a PDF and printed it off, and I'll show you the full picture of it. I have to cover part of the pattern here, so let me make sure I'm not showing anything. There we go. So if you stitch it like a sampler, that's what it looks like. But for me, there's a lot of repetition in there. So this is the exact same pillow or shape and colors as this. They flip-flop the colors, but it's the exact same pattern. And then you have a lot of these little flowers that look like pinwheels. It's beautiful. I love the colors in it. But what I really liked was looking at it this way in the individual pieces. So that's what I have decided to do. I've looked at the pattern and I have picked out 2 sections that I'm going to make pillows that complement each other. And they'll be fairly large pillows like this. And I may or may not stitch a third one. But I will do at least one of them on WIPGO for this year. And again, I wanted a really neutral, just slightly modeled background for this one, because the colors are muted and I don't want to, you know, overshadow them. So I pulled out this. This is Prairie Land. It is an Atomic ranch fabric as well, from the Fabric of the Month Club from Garan Stitchery. So I was delighted to be able to put those 2 together. So that's 2 of my Fabric of the Months I'm using right away next year, which is wonderful. Okay. Now, this one is fun. This is going to be my patriotic. It's called Zephyr Hill. It is by Summerhouse Stitchworks. And this is the one I shared with you that I purchased the pattern through my Daily 30 group. I tell you, we get points, we get tokens when we stitch, and so every so many months they'll open up their virtual store and you use your virtual tokens to purchase your supplies. And first of all, you have to have enough tokens to buy it, and then you have to be the first one to get there. But I saw this and I wanted it, and this is the one that they had. And I saw that and thought, I want to stitch that. That is a very unique, different patriotic piece. I love it. I think it's just really, really unique. So I paid for that with my tokens and I got it. And when I got it in, I realized that when I opened up the pattern for this topper is here. But the pattern for this, I have the first third of it. It's a series. It was a 3-part mystery sampler when it was published. So I went looking. I could find part 3 and part 1. I found part, oops, I showed you the pattern. I found part 1, and part 1 has this topper, and then it has the front part. So I had the front and the end. I didn't have the middle. And I couldn't find it. So I did reach out to my friend Julie from Reflections Framing and Stitching and in Nebraska. And she reached out to Beth Seal, and Beth had it at her home. She was able to sell it to Julie, and Julie was able to sell it to me. And so now I have all 3. I can do the sampler at the bottom, and they all 3 have those beautiful toppers for those round shaker boxes. those may have to happen down the road too. So if you look at this piece, especially up here and on this one, the background looks like it's a pale green to me. It's probably just the lighting, but it put that in my head and I really liked it. So I'm gonna use this. This is eucalyptus. It's also an atomic ranch fabric from my Fabric of the Month Club from Coure Stitchery. So this is number 3. Guys, I'm loving this. I'm loving this Fabric of the Month Club, obviously. So I'll be stitching that on this for my patriotic piece. Now, that's what I had picked out for WIPGO. So I don't know if you were counting or not, but some of these I'm going to stitch 2 out of, and others I will stitch 1. And so when you put all those doubles and things together, it's 10. So that's how they're going to go on my WIPGO board as individual projects. So what's left from that? Well, I want to do a couple of gifts for my sister. So Stephanie, you need to look away. The first gift is something I just thought was precious and just reflected an interest of hers so well. And so that's what I'm going to stitch for her. And I have decided to make it a beautiful sky type background. And this is the color that I'm going to stitch it on. And I have pulled the floss, and I'm going to check before I get started because I may change the flowers up here to be in a color that goes a little more with this, or I just may let it pop on there. I need to see how they look, but at any rate, I have my colors, and I'll be working on that as one of my gifts. And since I want to make it as a gift, I very well may take it with me traveling. So this may be the first one you see that I say, I may take this with me on traveling. Stephanie, don't look back yet. I got one more I need to share. So this one, I actually had thought I might put on my WIPGO board. Maybe take one of my twofers out and put this in. But at any rate, it's going to get done. So this one is definitely going with me. And I am going to use it just like this. And this will be a gift for my sister, Stephanie. I may take it with me to get started on my travels as well. Okay, Stephanie, you can look back now. All right, you know my friend Cheryl that I stitch for quite often. Most recently, I made her the little radian ornament that I'll be gifting her this year for Christmas. So I'm thinking about what to do for next year, and I have decided that for my new year, new start, I am going to go ahead and start the companion piece to the beautiful one that I did for her. This one that had the 2 dolls in the window. This is something she said was her second favorite. She said if you can't find the 2 dolls in the window, she said then this is the one I would like. So she didn't know I had both of them. So I will be stitching this, but here's how I'm going to do it. It is full coverage. I had actually pulled a pre-gridded fabric that I was going to use for it for full coverage. But now I'm thinking differently. Now I'm thinking that I may pull a fabric that's this color, and I may just stitched this shadow here and here, which means the fabric would show right in here. And then for out here, I may just do half stitches in a beautiful light blue. There's a beautiful light blue in that quilt, and I'm thinking I may use that color for the sky outside and just do half stitches. And that way it would go a lot quicker, and it would add some color in there, you know, because this is all beige, all of it, just about. So I would rather do that. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I haven't pulled the floss on this one yet because it requires an awful lot of it, but it's all DMC, and I have DMC. So, and it's easy enough for me to go pick up as I need it. But I will pull the floss before, you know, New Year's Eve, because I plan on starting this either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, depending on what we're doing. But I've got to get my fabric pulled on that one. So that's my New Year's start. Now, other gift stitching. I have two more. This is an idea I shared with you not long ago that I would really like to do some projects for August, because it's my husband, my son, and my dog's birthday in August. And I generally have left my patriotic decor up all the way to September when I change over to the fall. And in August, that feels a little old. It feels like it's been there a long time because I put it up in May for Memorial Day. So it's there May, June, July, and then August. So my husband even said something in August about, when are you going to change, you know, out to your fall stuff? So that told me he was getting tired of it too. I would love to put up, immediately on August 1st, I would love to put up a little birthday display for all the birthdays in August. And so I have purchased several birthday patterns. So here's one, Birthday Blessings. And I have decided I'm going to start with this one because it's a really easy one to get started with. And I'm going to put it on Murmur by Picture This Plus. This is a darker, rosier color, but I think the colors will look just fine on this one. And I'll get to use up that scrap. Then the second one I want to do is this Happy Birthday. I'm not going to put it in this thing. I have priced this, and it's expensive, and it would be the only one in a holder like that. And so the rest of these, I can make them as flat folds or pillows, but I think I'm going to make them as flat folds so they can all stand across the mantle. But I am going to stitch it on Dusk by Picture This Plus. That's a beautiful variegation. It's not quite so dark. I'll be able to see it a little bit better. And I do think those colors are going to pop like crazy on that. So I think that's going to be lovely. Then I have another pattern that I purchased for the birthday stuff. And it'll make 4 pictures. And I'm looking at making these a different shape than they are here. These are bookmarks. Got the glare out for you. Aren't those cute? But I think if I change the shape just a little bit, they don't have to be quite this tall, you know. But even if they are, that's okay. I could have 4 flat folds the same size and shape. That wouldn't be terrible. But they say, happy birthday to you, birthday greetings, Warm Love on Your Birthday. I'll have to change that font because it's hard to read. And Make a Wish. I would probably change that wording too because my husband absolutely loves ice cream. And I would probably just do something more about, your favorite things or something. Wishing you your favorite things. I don't know. I'll do something different there on the lettering. But I think these are cute, and they're going to be, I'm hoping, simple, easy. They're called Kitty Me Designs by Pamela Kellogg. Patterns are great. The patterns are really big. One of these takes up the entire half of an 8.5 by 11. It's like half of the page is the pattern for one, and the other half of the page is the pattern for the other. So they stretch that pattern out this whole way. You can see it without any trouble. It's great. I love it. That's so cute. So there you go. So I have these two. I have not pulled colors for these because I hadn't decided when I'm going to start them. But I'm going to do these other two first. So that is my plan for the birthday theme. And that would give me 6 items to put across the mantle as a start, which I think would be great. And I do plan on taking the first 2 that I'm going to work on with me traveling so that I can get started on them. Okay. Last one to share with you is a gift. We have friends who live in Florida. They used to live in Warner Robins when we did, and we became really close. And we've traveled with them some this year. We've met up with them at Kiowa Island, and we've met up with them in the mountains in Georgia. When we go on our vacation here in October, we are actually going to go to their house and spend a couple of days with them, which I'm very excited about. But when I saw this, I thought of her, and I thought, I have not stitched her anything in a while. I stitched the 3 little girls at the beach for her. That was the one I did for her. And she put it up the day she got it, and it's been on her wall ever since. She has made me 2 beautiful watercolors for my home. And then just recently, she sent me a portrait that she did of Coco in watercolor that I've got to have framed and put up. So I felt it was high time I stitched something else for her. So I looked at this and I thought, how cute. So this is from Hands On Design. And this is a storage box. You stitch the front, you cover the box with fabric, and then you stitch 3 little ornaments. And the ornaments say Peace, Joy, and Noel. But they're all beachy themed. And I thought, how perfect, because she lives in Florida and she loves the beach. And if I made the box, I could put these little 3 in there for storage. And I think that would be perfect, because then she could either display them, and then she would have a box to store them in during the year. So I got these at the retreat down at Garon's Stitchery's retreat in Florida last year. And this is one of the things I told you was so great about it. They had the thread pack right next to the pattern. I didn't have to go shopping. It was right there. Ready, assembled, and ready to go. I grabbed it. And so I went into my stash Sunday, and this is the fabric that I pulled out. I don't know the name of it. It's a mystery fabric. It doesn't have anything on it to tell me what the name is. So I'm sorry that I don't know, but I can tell that it is a 32 count Lagana. And so this mystery fabric is what I'm going to stitch these on. And I'm thinking that they will all fit on it because it is a fat quarter. So I'm thinking they will all fit on that without any trouble. I will double check, but I do believe they will. So there you have that. This is going with me on my travel. So if you've gotten the gist of what I'm taking with me, I'm taking with me things that are small to stitch, that aren't already on roller frames, that are things I need to get started and I need to work on, because I will have a week on my cruise that I'll be able to stitch, and then we're gonna spend a couple of days with our friends, and then before we come home, we are going to stay at the beach in St. Simons, Georgia for a week. So I will have 2 weeks of uninterrupted stitching where, you know, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean, I don't have to do anything else but stitch. And I'm hoping to get a good start on most of these if I can. I haven't decided if I'm going to start and finish and then go to the next one, or if I'm just going to start and get a really good start on it and then go to the next one. Probably that, because I like variety in my life. But anyway, so that means I'm taking Coastal Holiday, Happy Birthday, my sister's gifts, and then I actually have a couple of my whips that are still on Q-snaps, that I'm still stitching on Q-snaps, and that's the Stitcher's 12 Days and Halloween Quaker and Cranberry Christmas. Those were the 3 I thought if I wanted to take some whips to push forward, I can work on those. And that would help, because I'm trying to finish 3 more, and there's 3 whips I could take with me. So who knows? I could actually finish one of them. Maybe Cranberry Christmas, I don't know. Okay, so as if that wasn't enough, I have one more category to share with you for planned starts, and that is my May Monday starts. I have 4. Let me share those with you. The first one is Hands-On Design, a classic Christmas. I think this is going to be so pretty. And the fabric that I am using for it is called Highland. It's a beautiful green. It's probably looking a little more brown to you. That's better. And this is what I'm going to use for the Christmas one. And this one, I hope you're excited to see, because I'm excited to start it, because I just think it's gorgeous. Spring Quaker. And I'm going to stitch it on Springfield Sage Green. And I am doing the called for 28 count, because I want these intricate details to show up. You've got these gorgeous curlicues and different color changes in there. And then you've got these little tiny words. Now those words are stitched in green, and I'm going to have to look and see how that shows up on this fabric. Because if it doesn't, I'll have to change out the words to be one of the redder colors. But remember when I told you about the Gloriana? Well, here's the Glorianas. I did go ahead and get them. My friend Glow gave me a wonderful gift through PayPal when I was headed to New Jersey, and I was going to go shopping in the shop there. She said, buy you something when you get there, and I bought these with her gift. I looked at the variegation on them, and there's no way I can copy that with a blend, I don't think. So I decided to go ahead and get it. And what I would do is I'm going to split them. I'm not going to use all 3 strands. I'm going to use 2. So I will pull one strand off and put it aside, and when I pull the next length, I will put it with the 3rd strand from the next grouping that I cut. And we'll see how that goes. But I'm not going to do 3. They're just too thick for me. I think they look a little bulky, and they're hard to pull through. And so, but I'll get the colors And we'll see. I'll do the first, few stitches and then see how it looks. We'll go from there. I mentioned that I had, Halloween pieces, but I wanted to go ahead and put another one in my Monday starts, because I'm hoping to be finished with the Halloween Quaker at least by then, and so this would give me a second Halloween one to be working on. But this is, I think it's in autumn, or like in autumn. I don't know French. I'll have to get, hey Marissa, tell me how to say that. But I'm going to work on this. I think it's really, really cute. And this haystack is the rest of the remnant that I showed you, the little piece I cut off for my birthday start. It's the rest of haystack. It was the little tiny piece left over when I cut off the piece I had stitched in this. So the rest of the haystack remnant will be used for this. I think that looks really close to what they have in the picture, actually. My last Monday start is another Brenda Gervais, and it's called Spring Awakens. I think that is precious. I just love it. Just as cute as it can be. And I'm just going to use this beautiful coloring cotton here called Willow. It is another remnant. And I will measure and see if it'll fit, on this, maybe this section here. But if not, I'll just start it at the other end and then see what I've got left in the front. But again, I love it when I can use a piece of my fabric that I've already used before. But I think that'll look really pretty together. Now, I have pulled the colors that I have, and I have ordered what I don't have. This is one of the ones I had to order quite a few. But that's it. That's my Monday starts for May. Okay, is that enough? I'm telling you, it's a lot. Well, if I get to start all of these in 2024, I will be a happy little camper, let me tell you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you saw some things that you may have. You may want to start them as well. I never know when I'm going to start the WIPGO calls. That's the luck of the draw. But the others, I've kind of told you when I'm going to get started on them. So if you want to join in, that'd be great. Well, I'm going to get busy now and get some stitching done. And until I get a chance to talk to you again, happy stitching, everybody.